Today's guest is magician, illusionist, and dear friend of mine, Jim Munroe. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So in the first segment, we went very quickly over the fact that, oh, ho hum, I was drafted into Major League Baseball twice, actually. And you did that, and then you got hurt, that ended that career. Mm-hmm. You picked up something else. You went and became a magician, and you had some success with that.
Yes.
For people who right now, everybody wants to be seen, right? They're out on social media. They're trying to do something to get likes, to get views, to be in front of people. You were seen by a lot of people. Like you were the thing on college campuses. Like,
yeah. So magic is, I mean, I think it's, how about I say this? I think it's more, I think it hits harder than like music. Like there's not a person on the planet who, if you pull out a deck of cards and start messing around with them, that they don't pull their attention away and kind of say, what's that? And I think that's, every magician will tell you when they were a kid, like that's the enchantment of it, is you get the attention, right?
Which is way better than having your kids try and sing for you, which is, every young family has the kids who want to do their own band, and they're terrible. So if you can make something disappear, it is more entertaining.
Yeah. No, magic's a good friend. Yeah, I think it chose me. It's one of those things.
So you did this. You were speaking around the world. You had figured out your craft. You went from baseball to performing, and you were able to perform in audiences. People paid you, and all of that was going fine. So here you had you could have been a great letdown from sports, but you found something else to replace it.
Right.
And then that was going great. And then what happened?
Yeah, so a couple of things actually. The first thing that happened was my partner committed suicide. My closest friend, like the only brother that I feel like I've ever had, which was massive. And then shortly after that, I think in part because of the stress of that, I got diagnosed with leukemia. And I was 28 when it kind of started, 29 when I got fully diagnosed, but a real gnarly one. It was called Philadelphia positive ALL. Yeah. So what was required with the Philadelphia mutation is a bone marrow transplant. And so it stops being about, hey, we need to, put you into remission with all these drugs. It turns into, hey, we have to find someone in the world whose DNA matches yours close enough. And if we can find somebody, we're going to substitute their perfect blood on your behalf so you can live again. So you don't just, it's not just, a normal, it's not just the normal chemo process. You have to actually, the reason why is because the cancer would come back, because my body couldn't recognize cancer cells. That was killing me. So we had to reboot my immune system.
So now it's not just you have something that might kill you, it's you have something that might kill you, and now we have to go find somebody. What's the natural thing? Go family members? They test
they test family members first, but then there's this international registry. There's a few international registries, but the big one in the U.S. is called the National Marrow Donor Program. Back then, I think it was called Be the Match. I don't know if they still have that name anymore. And so there's this international registry. At that time, there were 7 million people on the registry, and out of 7 million people, there was just one perfect match for me, just one.
I remember being in college and somebody came to our campus, and it was a friend. One of my fraternity brothers had a friend from high school who had a younger sister or someone who needed a bone marrow, so we all went and got tested and did whatever we did. We all got on the registry. And I can remember the conversations was, but it's a really painful thing, and
it's not pain. It's the way they do it now. It's not painful. It's not fun.
What I'm saying is someone said to us, but it's like, isn't that a bad procedure? And I say, but if you can save someone's life, if you're the one, how do you not do that? And we had something like 110 out of the 120 guys go do that, because it was, hey, let's make this work. But also we heard the odds were so big, and so the odds are stacked against you. With how do you find the matches, and are they even on the registry, and how do you do this? So it must have been scary.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Like, to know that my own sister wasn't a close enough match. I mean, we have the same chromosomes, right? It's pretty intense.
So what happens in that period of time from you get diagnosed, they tell you have to find somebody, needle in a haystack? What's that look like?
You're in hope. Like you kind of make your peace with life. I mean, you never stop hoping, right? You fight till the end. But yeah, you're at the mercy of finding someone on the planet who is willing to do this for you, which is really bizarre when you think about it.
Did you go through the feelings of why me and there is no God and I'm going to die and...
Yeah. So for me, one thing that probably you mentioned is that part of the show that I was doing included me, if people wanted to hear, I would share my faith. Like I'd basically do 90 minutes and then give them a break and say, hey, if you want to stick around and listen to what I think might be true. College campuses are obviously built that way, right? We're supposed to be talking about things that are bigger than ourselves. So for me, I thought I was doing everything right, So the whole rationale of cause and effect, like if you do good, then good things should happen to you, was kind of completely thrown out the window. So for me, yeah, it was a crisis of faith. It was a crisis of everything, until some of the details started to come out about what the transplant really was and how it actually matched up perfectly with what I believe to be true.
Which is?
So I'm a Christian. So bone marrow transplant is a substitution of blood on your behalf by the only person on the planet who can save you of your disease. That's pretty messianic. My doctor was Jewish. I remember him explaining this to me, and I was like, you mean I need a savior? He's like, yeah, by their blood. He's like, yeah. I was like, that's pretty messianic, doc. He's like, yeah, I guess it is,
And messianic for the audience?
Yeah, messianic is the fact that Judeo-Christians believe that there is a savior, and he loves you and he has a plan for your life. Yep. And Christians believe he did it with his blood. So, yeah.
So then you find a donor.
Find a donor, and then the tune totally changes, right? And you get excited. But the medicine gets worse because they have to destroy your immune system, right? They have to wipe out the old person, essentially, so they can let the new one become sheriff, because they don't want there to be a battle between old and new. It's called GVHD. And so they wipe you out, essentially making you like an AIDS patient, right? You destroy your immune system. And then
can't go near anybody, completely isolated.
Everybody that talks to you is a bubble, like your bubble boy. Yeah, completely isolated. If anything jumps on you, you have a chance of dying. I was in the hospital for 45 days at one point to regrow an immune system from scratch.
And you had children then?
I did. Yep, they were 3 and 2 at the time. Mm-hmm.
And dad's in a bubble, and they can't touch him and can't hug him and
couldn't talk to him, couldn't see him. Yeah, it was rough. But little did I know that in the darkest moment of my life, to that point, I believe that there was an incredible story that was being written that we'll then get later on talk about, like all that it produced. But going back to kind of what we chatted about before about character, like it's these. I really believe that hardship is part of the process. Like you can't have what you want until you go through the hard stuff. Or you can't. You don't have anything to share. You don't have anything to. Nothing distinguishes you or makes you unique until you've gone through some stuff. So for anybody watching today, it's if you're going through something difficult, it's part of the plan. It's part of the bigger process.
Now, there was a moment I got into business when I was started my first company, my own company, when I was 26. And 26, I'm trying to work with 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds. And so I'm writing books and doing things to try to convince people I'm smart enough that, I'm not the dopey child. Yeah. But it wasn't until well into my 40s that the transition from being trying to be the smartest person in the room to being the most vulnerable person in the room is where the deepest connections were made.
Right.
And it was actually when my sister was in the hospital and in hospice that my parents were divorced, and the two people who would die for me wouldn't be in the same room, and that never set well for me. Mm-hmm. But it was in the hospital and in hospice when my younger sister was dying that I found my parents were so lovely to each other that it became clear to me that vulnerability is what brings people together, not accomplishments.
Yeah, people don't want to transact. They don't. They want to be known, right? And to know somebody, you have to. It's a two-way street. Right. Yeah, it's like to know you have to be known, and vice versa. So, I just think that there's a way to do business and there's a way to transact where the people part of it becomes the priority, right? I think people is the currency, so to speak, right? Not that you use people or anything like that, but people is the currency. Like if you want to do great business, you have to do great people. You know, if that makes sense,
Right.
you have to have great people. You have to be a great person.
Well, it's called Be the Giraffe, not Be the Lion, because it's not about devouring everything on the way. It is literally about sticking your neck out.
Right.
And being vulnerable. And
Right, which you do. I mean, I've watched you in all. We've actually done some things together, and watching you do your thing is. I mean, people get to know you as a television host, but I actually get to see you transact, and that's what separates you. You know, so.
Well, it's a lesson that I was also. I didn't create that lesson. I was given the lesson. So this is about, to your point, as you said, magic chose you, and the things that you believe. I want to get into in the next segment. The faith and how all these setbacks and things that you did, when you change the way you look at things, and you see them as a gift, as you see it as an opportunity, not as a setback, not as bad luck, not as a bad deal, that there's something else.
Right. Again, it sounds crazy, but I'm thankful that I went through cancer. I mean, and, you know, and some people think that that's small, or it's you know, it's mean-spirited. You know, gosh, I'm going through these really, really hard things. How can you say that? But for me, getting through that process has changed everything. The lens is so much clearer now. Yeah.
So if you're going through something, and that thing is, it's you, it's somebody in your family, it's someone close to you, and you're feeling a little bit stuck, you're feeling a little bit unlucky, you're feeling a little bit cursed, whatever it might be, then you definitely want to come back for the next segment. Jim's going to talk about how he was able to take what was seemingly a horrible situation and actually change hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. Don't miss it.